In last class, we started with 8086 microprocessor architecture. So, yeah, as I said, microprocessor is nothing but a CPU on chip where the all operations which has to perform by the CPU will be performed this particular chip, the microprocessor, and it will be accessing with memory and with other peripherals with the help of some buses. So actually, the Intel was started the introducing the microprocessors in 1971. The first microprocessor was 4-bit microprocessor, which is like 4004, right? And then slowly it was with the 8-bit microprocessor 8008, 8080, and 8085. The 8085 was good microprocessor which was into the market and generally we have a discussion regarding the microprocessor even. So coming towards that microprocessor, the 8086 is a new microprocessor, the advanced microprocessor as compared to the previous, whereas this 8086 microprocessor is an 16-bit microprocessor, means it consisting of 16-bit processor ALU and 16-bit data bus and 20-bit address bus and few control lines. And it was from 1978. System Intel was introduced with this in 1978. So as it has 20-bit address bus generally, which has the 1 megabyte of physical memory. And this is about the register organization of 8086, which consisting of like general purpose data registers, which are 4 registers: AX, BX, CX, and DX. All these are like 16-bit registers. Whatever you are seeing, all these registers are 16-bit size enough. And these are the special function registers. Out of the special function registers, 4 segment registers and 5 index and pointer register and 1 is the flag register, whatever. So coming to the general registers, generally the general purpose data registers A, B, C, D are used to store the data. Apart from this, it can be also the AX can be also used as an accumulator. BX can also used as a base address register. CX also used as count register. And DX, when the overflow occurs during multiplication and division, at that situation, we use the data register. And coming to the segment registers, we have code segment, data segment, and extra segment, and also stack segment. Generally, code segment is used to store for the program part of the execution, and the data segment to store the variables, and extra segment when the code segment and data segment exceeds the storage, then extra segment is used. The stack segment is used while interrupt. And these are the pointers and instruction index registers. Generally, we have base pointers and stack pointers to store the offset register address, and instruction pointer is used to store the address of next instruction which is to be executed. The address offset address will be stored in the instruction pointer. And source index and destination index is also going to show the address of the offset address of the data which is going to be processed in the execution part. And this is about the segment memory, where you can see here total we have 1 megabyte of physical memory. Out of each segment, like code segment is going to carry 64 kilobytes. Like that, each segment is going to carry 64 kilobytes. Whatever we have discussed 4 segments, out of this we'll be going to have again remaining 12, total 16 segments we are going to have. Each segment is going to carry again 64 kilobytes. That makes the 1 megabyte of physical memory, right? And Now coming to the segmentation, we have four segments, and all segment size is all about like the area which is going to cover the 64 kilobytes. The register size is 16 bits, right? So this is about the segmented registers. And how we store means, as I said, like 20-bit physical address. So this is how this 20-bit physical address, 16 bits will be stored in segment register, and the remaining 16-bit of address will be stored in offset register. The combination of these two registers makes the 20-bit physical address, right? So this is what the calculation how we do. Means 20-bit address is actually divided into two addresses. One is segment address, the other one is offset address, right? So the combination of these two makes the 20-bit address actually. So this is how the segment address will be stored in code segment or data segment like that. And offset address, which is the down one, will be stored in instruction pointer, source index, like index and pointer register. So this is how the address is divided, and we can access it. So this is all the combination how we divide the segment register and offset register address. And this is about the flag register. Generally, we have 9 flags, like overflow, carry, parity, auxiliary, like that. And the remaining, which were cross marked, are not in use, right? So out of this, we have three control things like a trap register, interrupt, and a direction flag. So these three flags are controlled, means we can control. The remaining auxiliary carry, parity carry, all these are like they are not controlled. They are going to give the status of the area, right? So these are the few features about 8086. Fine, it has a 20-bit address bus, and it is 16-bit microprocessor, and 64 kilo IO ports it has. And so it has like AD0 to AD15 pins, and A16 to A19 pins separate. The address and data pins will be combined here, right? So this is about the architecture, where it is divided into bus interface unit and execution unit. In bus interface unit, you can see here all segment registers, address conversion, how these two 16-bit addresses, segment and offset address, combined and make a 20-bit address that will be taken care about this yellow color or orange color block. And this is what the instruction byte, the whatever the instruction we give, that should be decoded and then kept in a queue to execute by the ALU. And the data registers ABCD and pointer and index registers will be here, and the status register, which can be called as flag register, is down to the ALU, and this is what the ALU 16-bit. And internally it has some data bus, and externally what we can see the memory address and data bus combination. Right. So this is what the explanation regarding the architecture actually, and this is what the execution unit consisting of registers. And this is what memory segmentation, how this 1 megabyte of physical memory is segmented. Same diagram you can give whatever we have discussed, like 16 segments, how it was. That particular diagram can be memory segmentation. So this is what the diagram we can provide, the memory segmentation. Sorry, that is what segmented memory. And here in memory segmentation, you just give the details about the how the addresses were given, so 000H to F00H, right? And this is what the pin description or signal description regarding the 8086 microprocessor, which were like AD0 to AD15 are like combination of address and data bus, total 16-bit pins, and the remaining actually address has 20 pins, so remaining 4 pins will be given here with the combination of status lines, right? And actually in this 8086 processor, it has two modes, minimum mode and maximum mode. Minimum mode is when the total system has only one single processor, then we will be calling it as a minimum mode operation. when the total system has, including this microprocessor, if it has multiple microprocessors, more than two like that, then it is called as maximum mode of operation. So in that situation, the same particular pins, these 8 pins will be acting in different. If it is minimum mode, it is acting as this particular uh, operations, and if it is maximum mode, it is going to act as like this. So both are meant for the same thing. It is meant for this. These are called as control pins, where they are meant to make the control of operation, like whether I should go with the write operation or read operation, or like a memory operation. I should interface with memory or some with some peripherals like that. That will be decided by this control pin. So generally, those description has given in this signal description. Just go through each and every pin has given specification. These are the status pins. So request granted. So like that till here the pin description has given. This is memory, physical memory organization, guys. Here regarding memory, segmented memory, memory segmentation, physical memory organization. We have three different topics regarding memory only. So this particular point you should keep in your mind. So you should not get confused like physical memory organization, memory segmentation, and the memory segmented memory. So this makes the differentiation between the topics. So when the question is asked regarding physical memory organization, you should not get into the memory segmentation or segmented memory. So actually that segmented memory segmentation is most similar actually. You can use same diagram, but coming to the physical memory organization, it's totally different, right? So here in physical memory organization, the same 1 megabyte of memory, whatever we have physical memory, how it was divided. So actually it was divided to even and odd bank. So this particular diagram you should mention it. So this particular diagram you should mention in the top in this topic when we are discussing physical memory or even and odd bank. So D0 to D7 we will be calling it as even bank when A is 0, A0 is 0 at the top is 0, and D8 to D15 is called as odd bank where bus high enable is 0. Bus high enable. These are called as higher bytes, these are called as lower bytes. So this is how the memory total 1 megabyte of memory is divided. 5 kilobytes, 512 kilobytes, 512 kilobytes. That's two different even and odd banks, right? For the only for addressing purpose, ease of execution purpose, it was divided like this architecture, right? So guys, this is what IO bus operation. So when particular operation has to be performed, after all you have discussed the internal architecture of 8086, and then the coming out you have discussed the pin diagram of 8086. Now you should perform like how if I connected something with memory or some peripherals to the processor, how it is going to be. So according to the clock, we have taken the 4 cycles, T1, T2, T3, T4 time period cycle. So depending upon the clock cycle only, the operation performs. So when the clock cycle is enabled, what happens here? The address latch enabled. Guys, you should remember this ALE pin. You can see it in pin description. So if ALE pin is high at that situation only, the AD0 to AD15, whatever the pins we have, those 16 pins will act as an address pins. So at that time, whatever you get out of this pins AD0 to AD15, those are treated as address lines or address value, right? And at the same time, A16 to A19 is also treated as address value. So when AL is high, whatever comes out of the A0 to A15 and A16 to A19 will be treating it as address values. So according to that address values, we are going to go with that particular operation. So generally, this particular is memory read operation. So whatever this bus diagram is regarding memory read operation. Accordingly, at that time, so you should memory read in the sense you should take the transmission. Sorry, you should go with the reception. So at that time, this particular pin should be low. That and memory read operation bar means this should be low. And so when the ALE bar gets low, that means like you are ready to take the data. So ALE low in the sense like data enable pin we have that is high. So when these ALE is low and DL is high, that means the data, your whatever you are taking from the pin or whatever you are trying to use those pins, AD0 to AD15, those are treated as data pins. So at that situation, as it is the receiver, so you can receive some data from outer memory, which you have given some address, right? So from that address, you are taking some data AD0 to D15. So that data you are going to receive to the D0 to D15 pins. So this is what the IO bus operation. So before reading, you should perform some address location and you should say for which, for what operation you are doing. You are doing reading or writing operation. So all these pins are making us to fix to some read operation. So coming to this is what the write operation is going to perform, right? So in the same way, like ALE is the address, whatever you in this situation, whatever you give 80 to 8015, that is treated as address line. After it gets low and DNA gets high, that means at that situation we are going to treat it as the data pins. So whatever you get from AD0 to AD15, and depending upon the situation, whatever you provide the pins, like whether I should write or read and transmit, data transmission. Writing means transmission. So DT by R bar should be high, and whether it is a memory write, so that thing will be low, so that at that particular situation, whatever the data you are coming out of the processor will be provided to the memory at that particular address. These are the few things, like generally in deep we are going with, like if it is IODAR means input output operation, how the operation blocks will be there, right? So guys, actually coming to the minimum mode, maximum mode, generally we are not directly going with the processor interface. Before the microprocessor get interacted with memory or IO preference, it should be sent to the latches. So 7434 is a latch where this total 620 bit of address is divided into 88 bits, right? 88 bits of address, and here it is 4-bit address, right? So like this it is divided, and the ALE address latch enable pin will be given here, so that accordingly that address will be again different segmented into 88 addresses, and 8 plus 8 plus 4, and then it is given to the peripheral. So because of the buffering situation, the synchronization situation, we are going to have in middle latches. And in the same way, to access the data also, you are going to have the buffering things like 7424 IC, 74245 IC, which is taking the 16-bit data into 88-bit separately. So you are going to have two ICs here. So coming to the minimum mode, this is the diagram. As I said previously also, in the examination point of view, most of the cases they may have not asked, but there is a situation to ask. So guys, just to remember this block diagram, make sure, so this is what the 8086 microprocessor. The pin configuration to interact with other ICs is all about like AD0 to AD15 pins, A16 to A19. So these pins, as I said, you should give the latches. Three latches you will be having 7434 373. So that three latches you should give. That is what is for address, and 74245 is a trans receiver for data purpose. So two trans receivers you are going to have here. So from here, surely the 8086 will be going to access with RAM, ROM, and IO. So the RAM, and IO is given the data, and as well as the address is also given to this memories, right? So this completes the lower block, and here the higher block you are going to have some demux in minimum mode. Since demux is going to use like memory read give, it will be going to give MIO and RTW pins. It takes these three pins and it gives memory read operation, memory write, IO read, and IO write. So 4 pins it is going to give. So that pins will be allocated here actually, but due to the complexity here is not. So these blocks is more than enough. The top one is clock generator. So as per the operations will be performed regarding the clock operation only. So this is what the clock operation it is provided actually. So same timing diagram, guys. A bit difference you can watch comparing to maximum mode and minimum mode. This is what maximum mode. Same latches, data buffer, microprocessor, RAM, ROM, IO, logic, and clock generator. Only this particular block will be changed. So there you have read, write, and IO. Here you will be having S0, S1, and S2 selection line. According to that, same pins, the same 4 pins comes out. memory read, IO read, IO write. The pins, 4 pins will be same, but the input pins will be different as compared to minimum mode block diagram and maximum mode block diagram. And this is what the IO bus operations we have discussed previously, right? So coming to the software part, guys. So here you will be having most importantly, you will be going to have two types of addressing modes. One is two types of assembly language. Whatever we have to discuss, the software part of it is all about like addressing modes of 8086, instructions of 8086. Apart from these two, you will be having instruction format of 8086 and assembly directives of 8086, right? So out of these four, the addressing modes and instruction sets are much important. So addressing modes, you can see here the classification: immediate addressing mode, direct, register, register indirect, index, register relative addressing mode, and base index addressing mode. So as you can see, immediate in the sense directly you are going to provide the value. Direct in the sense you are going to give the address to the value. Register addressing mode, two registers you are going to have. Register indirect in the sense you are going to have address of the register. So like that, these are the different addressing modes, and instruction sets you will be having again 8 different types of instruction sets. Data copy instruction set, data copy, data transfer, which is going to have some move, push, pop, like that. Arithmetic instruction sets like add, sub, and branch, machine control. So these are the different instruction sets we are going to have actually. So let us go with a small glance, fast enough. So this is what data copy instruction set. You'll be using move to like from the value, the 5000H will be moving to the DS. So it is not permitted actually. It is not the correct way. So here you can see. So data segment, you cannot directly access the values, right? So this is what pop instruction set. You are going to take the value, or push in the sense you are going to take the value. Exchange, you are trying to take the value. X value is going to here, BX value going to in AX register. In the sense, you are directly giving some value to the AL register, right? In the same way, out. Out means you are in the sense you are taking the value from the peripheral to the AL register. Out in the sense you are going to give the value from the AL register to that 0H 03H address. So arithmetic. So here BX and AX, the result, whatever the arithmetic operation is performed, that result will be stored in the AX register accumulator. Addition operation. So decrement operation is also comes under arithmetic. You can decrement one value. Subtraction, compare. So you are going to compare CX and BX register. Multiplication. So like this, you can see if you arithmetical operations here. And in division also you have ASCII adjust division. In logical operations you can see and, or, not. So these are the different logical operations. And shift, rotate, carry with the left. Coming to the branch instruction, you are going to have these are the different jump to 0, jump if not 0, jump if sign, jump if not sign, jump if overflow. So generally we use in different programs. If you go through the lab programs, so whatever we have discussed, those two of this you will be getting. And flag manipulation, like clear the carry flag, clear the direction flag, like that. So machine control, like wait, no operation, escape. So these are the machine control. So instead of performing some operation, you are trying to control the machine. You are waiting or halting the processor. String operations, repeat, move SB, compare strings, load SB, so store string. So like that, these are the string operation instructions. Assembler directives, generally these are the assembler directives, in the sense the directives which are helping us to execute, perform the assembly language program. So if you want to write the assembly language program, these are the directives are helping you to make a complete good format of the program, like assume, define byte, define word, end program, right? So these are the assembly directives we have. So guys, these are the overview about the first unit of MPMC, microprocessor and microcontroller. So this is about the first unit, 8086 microprocessor. So these are the syllabus regarding the microprocessor.